shall we hear? How about a fairy tale for our times? A field of dreams fenced in by white picket? A story of a young man and woman we all hope to be someday. Too bad, that's what you're getting. Once upon a time, there lived a young woman, pretty as the day in June. A young man stood by her side, smart as a whip and handsome as a polo horse. They met in high school and fell in love in a merry day in May. Before long, the young man dropped to his knee, pulled a diamond from his pocket, and won the young woman's hand in marriage.
Excuse us, Miss Storyteller.
Moving right along with the blessings of their compatible...
Miss Storyteller.
Excuse me a moment. Yes, what is it?
We didn't exactly meet high school.
Yes, you did. It says so right here.
We met in a bar.
And we dated on and off for 5 years while she experimented with her life.
Well, how nice. For our purposes, let's just say you met in high school, shall we? So, with the blessings of their compatible families, the young man and woman were to be bride and groom.
Wait a minute. As I recall, you kept breaking off.
What?
Yeah, then you want me back the minute I had a new boyfriend.
Oh, you certainly didn't waste any time running into the arms of the first guy with an accent.
Shh! Let's not argue in front of the impressionable youngsters. The bride soon set in on the wedding preparations.
I never realized you were a racist.
I'm not. I was fine with the fact that you dated black guys.
Oh, black guys? So you're assuming that racism automatically refers to African Americans? Isn't that a form of racism itself?
Excuse me, ma'am, sir. For me, those bridges, so I can get back to the story.
By all means, don't let anything silly like our issues get in your way.
Look, will you play along? These children will have ample opportunity to be disillusioned later. Right now, let's just have a nice big time story. Okay? Okay. As I was saying, the preparations, they were to be married in a beautiful church.
Joshua Chapel in Vegas.
Followed by an elegant reception at an old inn in Vermont.
Back room at the Stardust Lounge.
The bride put Martha Stewart to shame as she had the evening designed to the last detail.
Ha! That really sounds like me.
From the linen napkins to the centerpieces of purple freesia and Italian rescues.
I think she was invited to someone else's wedding.
And why she's assuming that the bride always performs? Does it never occur to anyone that the grooms want to participate? I worked my way through law school as a floral designer. That's how I know freesia is oral for a centerpiece. But maybe as a flower.
You were a floral designer?
You need to base your arrangement on a more substantial bloom, like a lily or an orchid.
Fred, is there something you want to tell me?
Actually, there is something I want to tell these youngsters so they can get to bed at a decent hour. The story.
Half.
So, they had their flawless reception with 300 guests at the turn of the century in Vermont.
You know, we're not from Vermont. We never even been to Vermont.
At which all had a delightful time.
What do you mean? Is there something I want to tell you?
Immediately following the splendid reception,
I mean, is there something you haven't been honest with me about? Like, with yourself about?
the bride, at the tender age of 24, What? What's so funny?
She is not even close to 24.
Now just wait a minute here, Buster Brown. Whose story is this?
Ours?
Wrong. This is a fairy tale. I'm going for prototypes.
But I'm 35.
In this story, you're 24. The average American woman gets married at the age of 24.
Well, how does that make him?
27. Why? How is he really?
Actually, I'm the one that's 24.
Isn't that a little too young to be getting married?
Okay, how come 24 is okay for me but not for him?
You're the woman. You're supposed to be younger.
Jesus.
Now, before I was interrupted for the upteenth time, boys and girls, the 24-year-old bride was whisked away in a horse-drawn carriage by her 27-year-old Prince Charming.
Whisk away where?
I don't know, to the airport.
Which one?
The airport of Vermont.
There's one in Burlington and one in Montpelier.
How did you know that?
I majored in geography.
Oh, you did?
So Miss Fancy Pants, which one was it?
The one where you caught your flight to Hawaii for your honeymoon.
Okay, now this whole fairy tale is completely out of hand. Anyone knows there's no flights from Vermont to Hawaii. You need to fly through Logan or LAX, or both. And besides, I highly doubt they let the horses in the terminal.
Oh, for God's sakes, what's the big deal in telling the children a nice little story?
No one's life turns out like that. How many of those kids will live up to your version of the story? None. They can't. It's too much pressure. And Brad, I probably should have married you to begin with.
Shayna, how could you say that?
You're probably gay.
What?
Come on, how many strip mill floral designers do you know?
That's what I thought you needed me to be honest about.
You didn't even know I majored in geography. Listen, if we're talking averages here, most people do not get married in Vermont. They do get married in their one-house hometowns. There's Walmarts and bad zoning.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. That's my point. Most people do get married in their hometowns. Most people cheat on their spouses or end up counseling or sell everything they own to get into a lousy nursing home. Put that into a fairy tale and smoking.
Whoa. No one's smoking anything.
There are children present. God forbid you tell them what life is really like.
She's got a point there. You open up yourself a multiple class action suit, Mrs.
Fine. I've had it. You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Well, far be it from me to give these poor little souls something to which to aspire.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
I'm warning you, it won't be pretty.
You stand warned.
I'm such a pushover. Once upon a time, there lived a woman approaching middle age who drank a lot of bourbon, smoked a pack a day, and hung out in places where they throw peanut shells on the floor.
Alright already.
And a slightly effeminate man who once took it up the ass from a fellow Eagle Scout, but since he was 17 and drunk on Kahlua, he still considers himself straight. The young man and woman met in a bar one night where they got drunk and spent the night at her place. Since she felt guilty about my one-night stand, she felt that she needed to make a legitimate relationship out of the encounter to justify the sex, even though she does prefer black men. And to stay deep dark in the closet, the man proposed to the woman, and since she's 35, and let's face it, not getting any younger, she accepted his pathetic offer, even though he does have the occasional problem of getting a stiffy with her, because, well, he's gay. Although the man offered to plan the entire wedding with his best friend Steve, the woman insisted that they hire a horse-drawn carriage to the airport of Vermont, which then they took 6 connecting flights to the airport of Las Vegas, which then they got married by an Elvis impersonator. And when they arrived back home at New Jersey, the groom, unable to suppress his inner self for a moment longer, took up with a drag queen from Soho. And the bride, realizing she'd never be a mother, consoled herself with alcohol and drugs and died of a somewhat accidental overdose 3 years later. And the groom, now 27, took up wearing cowboy hats and chaps and died, and later was drugged to his death by a bunch of homophobic rednecks. I bid you good night, children, and sweet